Welcome to the SOB radio show, where we have fun, interesting guests, and hot topics. Each week, we offer insights into music, fashion, health, fitness, and humor. Do you have the perfect guest for us to interview? I want to know. Drop me a line on our Facebook page at Spunky Old Broad 1 or reach out to me on our website at spunkyoldbroad.com. And now, back to the show. My guest today is Johanna Alper. Johanna is the healer's coach and assists holistic practitioners, psychotherapists, and heart-centered entrepreneurs to attract more clients and prosper. She's had a successful five-element classical acupuncture practice and teaching business in Boulder, Colorado since 1981. She began coaching to help her former acupuncture students who are struggling to create successful practices. She understands your sensitivity as a healer and is dedicated to helping you become the powerful transformational teacher, leader that you are and that this world is calling for. Her forthcoming book is Compassionate Marketing, the Magical Five Elements of Business Success for Healers, Therapists, and Heart-Centered Entrepreneurs. Welcome, Johanna.
Thank you, Gayle. It's just a tremendous honor and pleasure to be speaking with you this morning.
Well, thank you. I did want to say, I think that the book that you've got coming out is really necessary because most healers, therapists, not so much the heart-centered entrepreneurs, but healers and therapists don't necessarily know the best way to operate a business. They're great at what they do, but they're not so good at at operating a business. So your book is very much, I think, going to be a welcome addition to them. But you are 73 years old. And of course, that's young to me, but you're 73. So what is exciting and inspiring in your life?
What's really exciting is that I still have so much vitality from having lived a holistic lifestyle and been meditating and doing acupuncture, receiving acupuncture for decades. So I have a lot of vitality and I still have a lot of passion for life and contributing to others' well-being, mostly through the holistic profession. I still do acupuncture and I coach acupuncturists and other healers and therapists. So I'm making a contribution. I'm still able to enjoy myself, and I am so thrilled that this is my life right now, and I don't see that that's going to change in the very near future. And I'm so delighted to be aging with vitality.
Well, it's interesting because really all the things that you're talking about is what keeps you vital and keeps you active and keeps you interested and interesting. I mean, the people always laugh at me because they say you're always so busy, but I'm busy doing the things I want to do. Like this morning, I worked out before I'm doing the shows, and I make that a premise of every single day. And I try to eat right. I try to have the friends that I want to have, and I do a lot of things that I like to do, and I do them by myself. I mean, if I want to go see a play, I don't call up somebody and say, "Do you want to see the play?" And then they say, "Well, I don't know. It depends. What night? Where do you want to sit? How much are the tickets?" I just say, "I want to see this play. I'm going to go," and I call up the theater and I get a ticket and I go, and just like I'm going to Greece. For 2 weeks by myself. And my son said to me, and he's gifting this to me. And he said, "Don't you mind?" And I said, "Why? I go everywhere by myself." So I'm perfectly fine going by myself. So, it's a factor that at 73, you're not saying, "I'm 73, what else can I do?" You're saying, "I'm 73, what else can I do?" So it makes a huge difference. It makes a big, big difference. But it also sounds like you're pretty much of a pioneer because you've been teaching compassion meditation since 1973, and you've been practicing acupuncture since 1981, when few people had heard of either one of these. So what drew you in? What got you started in all of this?
Well, I was a dance student in San Francisco at San Francisco State in the 60s, and there was a lot of cultural change, to say the least, with hippies and communes and anti-war movements and all the exciting shifts that went on in the 60s in the counterculture movement. And I was part of that as I was in college. But after I graduated and went into more of an adult life, into the world, I saw that I wanted to work in a way that could help people without protesting in the streets, which really was not necessarily contributing to peace. And so I was attracted to meditation because for me, it really helped work with my state of mind, helped me calm down, and helped me be more of benefit in the ways that I really aspired to be. And then, being a dance student, I also was exposed to holistic health in the 60s. Few people had heard of these things. And then I learned about acupuncture, and I was inspired, and it just drew me in. It may have been a past life. I don't know about things like that. But I was so attracted to it, and I tried nursing school. It wasn't for me, but I didn't finish. But acupuncture has been a phenomenal profession for me for almost 40 years, and I still love it. I still do it along with coaching, and I feel that it has contributed tremendously to my health as well as other people's, my clients, students, and it's a way that it can also actually really help the general culture. The ideas of Oriental medicine are about peace and harmony and working along with nature, and I see these as part of the sustainability insights to help individuals as well as our culture at this time.
Well, it's interesting. I've only had acupuncture, I think, once or twice. I've never done the 10 sessions that they say or the 8 sessions that they say. But my mom was totally devoted to acupuncture. She loved it. And she really believed that it helped her. Now, I don't know. I didn't do it long enough to really see a difference. But I know that some people swear by it. They just think it's wonderful. And other people are scared to death of it because of the needles. But in terms of injuring somebody, that is so not happening. I mean, the people who do it are well versed in it, and they they do it well. But you said that there are 5 elements to Oriental medicine. What are those 5 elements?
Well, the 5 elements are the part of the whole structure in nature for every living system. And Oriental medicine works along with nature. So these are the fire element, earth, metal, also called air, water, or wind. And they all need to be balanced for every living system. A person, an elephant, an orchid, all of the 5 elements have to be there for life. And I don't want to get into too much detail about it, but it's about working along with nature and all of those elements energetically, which are like an energetic blueprint for health of any organism. And that's when they're in harmony, somebody can be much healthier, free of pain, and so forth. So it's not just only treating a symptom. Of course, we want symptoms to be more, to not cry out, and we don't want people to be in pain, but the underlying elements also have to be balanced in order for ongoing wellness and thriving to occur.
Well, didn't I hear somewhere that the chakras are part of this earth, moon, fire thing as well? The chakras in your body?
Right. So the chakras are more a system from India, ancient India, and the Ayurvedic system of medicine and yoga connect with that. The Chinese had a slightly different system, and there are ways that there's similarities and ways that they're different. But all Oriental medicine is based on the idea of balancing all the energies, all the elements, and the chakras, and the all of our organs as well, our organ system. So they are connected.
Well, it's funny because I have to say that the people I know who are practitioners, in fact, I was just at an event and there was a yoga teacher and she just looked and acted the part of a yoga teacher. She was absolutely gorgeous. She was absolutely slim. She wore these flowing dresses, gowns, which she had to cover up later because the hotel was so cold. But, and she, there's just an aura about these kind of people. I mean, it's just like they're floating on air. So how can the principles of these 5 elements help a business be successful?
Well, this has been something that I've been so delighted to discover about, Gayle, because when I learned that our businesses are living systems, I started coaching acupuncturists who were graduates of the acupuncture school where I used to teach. And I saw, because they weren't able to get their businesses going well, I started to learn coaching. And I then discovered that our businesses are actually living systems. And that's a wonderful way for holistic practitioners and therapists and sometimes very shy, heart-centered healers to enter business, because when we see our businesses as a living system, it can make us much more inspired to market and much more confident with it. So in the 5 elements, the fire element has to do with our heart, and that's actually about, in this system that I use, the fire element is about our brand, how we shine our light in the marketplace, because people don't choose acupuncture. They choose an acupuncturist. So when we are able to have our brand shine out with our own personality and spirit and mission, then the fire element is strong. The earth element has to do with how we serve, just like the great Mother Earth serves all her creatures. When we work to have a powerful and clear niche, we're much more able to serve the people who are looking for us and go beyond just one by one sessions and actually serve with a signature system, programs, and so forth. The metal element has to do with prosperous money flow. And I've found, honestly, that many healers, because they're so dedicated to serving, actually have often a negative money mindset, that they don't feel like money is important. But then they're sabotaging themselves, or we are often doing that, because we're not as open to receiving money. Sometimes we have PhDs in serving, but we're in kindergarten in receiving. So making sure that the metal element is also strong, and that money is flowing clearly, then we have a great business, not just in service. The water element has to do with work-life balance. And in our world that's very speedy and fiery and extroverted, the water element helps us have work-life balance so we can be sustainable for the long run. And the wood element has to do with, just like growing a garden, we grow from an acorn with great quantum leaps into becoming an oak tree. Our businesses have the capacity to make quantum leaps, but we need to go out and have heartful enrollment conversations out in the marketplace to grow the gardens of our business. So the wood element has to do with having heartful enrollment conversations, which I actually call invitations. And then when all of those 5 elements are strong in a business, then we're much more likely to prosper, receive good financial gain, and also make the impact that so many of us healers are here to make.
Well, that's fabulous. I'm looking at fire, earth, um, let's see, metal,
Metal.
water, wood. I am wondering here, Johanna, I don't necessarily see this in corporate America. Is this something that has bypassed them? Is this something that you have seen in corporate America? Are you coaching any corporate people? Where does this fit into corporate America?
Wonderful question, Gayle, because I see this eventually being able to go into corporate America, not all over, but specifically in creative and managerial teams, because actually corporate America can be diagnosed according to which of the elements are not strong. So a business can be mostly solopreneurs and healers, which I've worked with so far, but also large businesses can take the view, if they want to be sustainable for the long haul and they also want to contribute in the world, not just be for profit, then the 5 elements in any business, because they are living organisms too, big corporations, they can thrive better with this. Honestly, a friend of mine who's also taken one of my courses had been previously a senior vice president at Citibank, and now she's a coach. And she is beginning to use the 5 elements in her corporate executive coaching. And I see that down the road, once I have more experience, and when she and I work together in a stronger way, I believe this can go out in much larger ways, and also to mission-driven organizations, because we all need harmony and we all need balance in order to go forward in a healthy way. And that includes every organism and every institution. So I have big vision, a very big vision.
Well, let's hope so, because I think they can certainly use it. So you say there's also a connection between our health and business success. So is it because if we feel, I mean, I would think common sense, if we feel better, we work better. But I've also known some pretty unhealthy corporate executives. They're overweight, they drink too much, they smoke too much, and they're powerful people. So where does health and business success interconnect?
Well, it really comes down to an individual choice, of course. But to be sustainable in business or in anything we do, and also to thoroughly enjoy our lives, we need to have health. And that includes physical health and vitality, so we're not just constantly stimulating ourselves on caffeine or other things, that we're not overeating to compensate for not feeling well in our heart and true values. So in the long run, they absolutely are interconnected. I think most healers understand this, but they're, in general, perhaps their health is stronger, the business is not as strong. And that's where I want to make an impact, to help, as I said, strengthen businesses, but not at the expense of our health, because it's not either or. And you know that you, in your 80s, are having a business and are, having a healthy life and enjoying yourself. That's just so exciting. And without one or the other, I don't see us in the full sense.
So I think that this is a big factor in shall we say, long-term success, especially for the entrepreneur, because the entrepreneur, kind of creates their own mess, if you know what I'm saying. They create their own agenda, they create their own future, they create their own how their business is going to look, etc. And also with your, your massage people, your healers, those people are people who are, they're working on other people. So what they're projecting from themselves is being transferred over to their particular clients. So it's important for them to be positive with all of this as well. So I think this is all very fascinating. I've never been, as I say, a big practitioner of any of this, but I know that many of my friends are, and I am always amazed the belief system that they have regarding all of this. So how do you weave meditation and your healing practice together into business coaching?
Well, honestly, when I work with individuals who I'm coaching, and by the way, recently a massage therapist tripled his investment in a private premium Ignite Your Business program with me. He tripled his investment in less than 5 months. And he, um, I was very sure one of the reasons he was so successful in doing this was and increasing his practice was because he was also meditating and really conscious of his particular health regimes. So I always check on that with people because I don't. It's very connected to our optimism and state of mind of that helps our business if we also are caring for our bodies, minds, and spirits. So it's always woven in, although I don't necessarily spend a lot of sessions with my business coaching clients on their health practices, but I make sure that they are caring for themselves because otherwise it's much harder to have success.
Well, so true. I mean, there are so many people now who are meditating as opposed to many, many years ago. In fact, I spoke to somebody yesterday who said that she recommends meditating 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes at night. And I know that that's another practice that I have difficulty with because I'm not a sitting down and being quiet type. But I said to her, I feel like I'm meditating when I'm sitting on the couch or even in the bed and I have a cat in my lap and I'm, watching television, not something violent, but, something fun. And I'm stroking the cat. And to me, that's meditation, So I guess it really depends on what you're doing and what your definition is. But I know that meditating is really, really important. And then the healing practice also, knowing what your target points are and knowing what makes you feel better and what works for you and what doesn't work for you. That's what makes the world go round, is that we're all totally different. So that's kind of good as well, and it's just very interesting to me how all of these different personalities and different practices and different approaches kind of all come together, in one organization or one company or one bunch of people or whatever. I mean, heaven forbid that we're all alike, that would be very dull, very dull and very
really
boring,
dull.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's good that we're all different and that we all feel a different way and so forth and so on. So, that's great. Well, we're coming up to our first break, and my guest has been Johanna Alper, and we have been talking about Oriental medicine. We've been talking about healing. We've been talking about meditation, and also she teaches compassion meditation since 1973. So there must be something to it. And she's been practicing acupuncture since 1981. So there's a lot of history there. So hang on. We'll come back with our part 2 with Johanna Alper.